Welcome to the Endless Entrepreneurs YouTube channel. My name is Luke Henson. I am a eBay seller, a real estate investor, and I work as a consultant in the corporate finance world. If you're a first time coming to the channel, I appreciate you stopping by. If you're returning, welcome back. This is actually back-to-back days with videos. I haven't done this in quite a while, so starting to finally get back to some routines here. I did Super Bowl Sunday, February 4th, and just going to do a recap of my January sales. As you can see from the title, unfortunately, they were the lowest I've had since 2016. I spent some time this month. First of all, I got married this month, so I was out of town for basically a third of the month. And even the week leading up to it was a lot of wedding stuff. So it was pretty shot as far as a working month, but I did get a lot done in the back half of the month. But I'll talk about kind of why my sales were slow. I'll talk about what they were, show you kind of the analytics behind it, what I like to keep track of as kind of key indicators and to let me know how to course correct. I'll give a Super Bowl prediction later because I do have one. I don't know if it'll be right, but it's what I think. And just kind of talk about what I'm going to do moving forward, just to make sure that I get things headed in the right direction here as 2018 is, off and running, obviously. See, people, this is live, so if you're watching after it's been recorded, that's why I'm interacting with the audience. So appreciate everyone stopping in. Hi, Stacy. Thank you for the congratulations there. So what I'm going to do first, I'm just going to jump right in. I want to share my screen just to show my sales from my eBay. Want to show my spreadsheet that I use just to keep track of things as a tracker. And then I'll flip back and kind of talk a little more about actionable steps and what I'm going to do personally for my store. And talk about how February is going, because February has actually been quite the opposite of January, which has been very, very nice. So one second, let me share my screen here. All right, so you should be able to see my screen now. So what I have here is this is my eBay filter for January 1 to the 31st, 2018. As you can see, I had $3,015 in sales, and that's the lowest since October of 2016. So pretty brutal for me. I'm used to pretty much like 5,000 was pretty much my floor for almost half of the year last year. So it's just kind of been interesting accepting the reality of that was that poor. Now, a couple culprits to this is I pretty much did not list from September through December all of last year. I listed like crazy from January through August. And then my old job took a turn for the worse, and I was just working absurd hours, 7 days a week, was not productive at all. And then we decided to buy a new house, which we're in now. We decided to get our old townhouse ready to be a rental, which is now our first cash flowing rental house. And then we obviously had the wedding, which was this last month. And so we had a lot of things, and pretty much eBay just took a back seat for all of the fourth quarter, which is probably the worst time for a reseller to take the back seat. But that was just the reality of what life had, and I had a lot of other awesome opportunities. So I kind of just had to make that decision. And I think that I paid for that a little bit this month. Like I kept steady sales during fourth quarter because it was fourth quarter. But I think the result of not listing fresh inventory is that I sold off a lot of my valuable inventory. And I kind of just hit that wall, especially coming after January. They're already slow in general in January. And just I'm feeling the effects. So, personally self-diagnosing it, it's all my fault. Like, right, everything, this is my fault. It's a lack of effort. 3,000 to some might be a lot. 3,000 to a lot of people might be a really tiny amount. To me, it's about half of what I expect per month. And for my goal this year in 2018 is I want to have $7,000 in sales a month. I got to get back to that point and I got to get up there, but that's what I hope to grow my business to. So there's just a little screenshot. Now I'm going to flip over to my spreadsheet. So this is what I use, and it's just like a tracker log basically for pretty much the activity of my business. And these to me as a individual, like a single seller, basically by myself, a one-man shop, these are kind of the best key indicators for me as far as if my business is moving forward. And just if anyone hasn't seen this sheet, and I'm sure a lot of you have, I pretty much have the date. I have this by day, the amount of items I list each day, the items that sell, what the total value is, so I can get my average sale price, the items I purchased that day, the total value of those, the average cost per item. And then what I did the second half of last year, which helped a ton of taxes this year, is I kept track by day when I had food and beverage that I knew would be deductible for next year. And then I kept track over here for any like one-time supply or equipment purchases, just so that when I went to roll up my taxes and my profit and loss, I could just look by month on this thing and just roll it all in really quickly. And it just saved me so much time. So I've added that in. This spreadsheet too, a lot of people ask for it in the comments. this is available on my website and the link in the description of these videos. It's completely free. Download. You just got to put your email in and you can download it. And it's a blank template. I have 2017 up from last year, so you can just edit the dates on the left. I will work to get a 2018 out there, but feel free if it's something that you like and you want to use. For me, I'm able to look back in a month and go, okay, so I listed pretty heavy in the beginning before I left. And then we left for the wedding on the 8th. We were gone for basically 10 days. I came back on the 16th. Well, I guess 9 days. And during that time, like, I actually sold quite a bit of stuff. I mean, while we were gone, it was like, I can't see because the formula bar, but I think I did a video. I was like $900 some while I was gone or something like that. I sourced a little bit. I went to a Marshall's while we were out and about, but I didn't source the entire month of January pretty much. I did do that local bulk buy, like it was 2 days before January, it was like last year. So that pretty much carried me through listing this whole month. And then as you see down here, like I got back and did that listing challenge myself on the weekend. So I listed a ton there. And really my goal each month is to list 270 items. And this is the other part of the spreadsheet is I keep my monthly goals down here and then I keep how it rolls up to the year. And so for my business plan was I wanted to list 270 items a month. I want to sell 200 items a month roughly at $35 per item. Now, granted, I know that I'm not going to get to that $35, so probably mid-year because I need to start diversifying what I'm selling, getting better at picking. But like that's the ultimate goal. Last year, I think I was like about $22 per item. So I just pretty much held right there this month. I was like $21.82. Sold 130 items, so well below how many items I wanted to sell. I missed my listing goal by 18, and I'm going to challenge myself and just carry that forward for this month and make sure that even though it's a short month, I'm going to make up for those listings because I really don't want to. I mean, I feel like I owe that to myself. But for missing basically a third of the month being gone out of town, I'm pretty happy that I only missed it by 18. And as you can see, I didn't source very much. I only sourced 45 items. I'm trying to source 300 items a month so that I'm continually having a backlog of items that I can list in case I can't get out thrifting for a week or something. And then as you can see, there's a 70 listing delta here. So that extra 70 I'm listing that I'm not selling should help my inventory to keep growing. And just, I don't want my business to shrink. So, that's kind of my whole other indicator is making sure that I'm growing. I'm listing more than I'm selling. So, yeah, that's the spreadsheet. I'm going to stop sharing my screen now. Get back to. So that's, in a nutshell, that was January. It was a little ugly. It is what it is, and it's my responsibility to correct. And I definitely put a lot of thought into what I want to do about it. I will share that February right now through just the last 3 days, not counting today. I am at, what is that? Hold on, let me look. I've started this month really, really, really strong. I hope that it's going to stay that way. I think that all my listing I've been doing is finally starting to pay off. And hold on, guys, I'm just filtering right now. So yeah, so far this month I've sold $761 worth of stuff so far. So that's pretty big turnaround for the first basically 3 days of February. So I'm pretty pumped about that. In either case, so these, let me just jump in. I have some actionable steps that I'm going to take personally, and this first one I think is really important. Right, we're in a new year. Everyone's had a ton of time to think about what they want to do this year. Whether it's be a formal business plan, an informal business plan, what I want to change, what my goals are. We just spent the end of the fourth quarter, early January, figuring that all out. So the last thing I want to do is have a knee-jerk reaction because I had a bad month and overcorrect and do all these things I wasn't planning on doing because, oh no, my the sky is falling, my sales are low, oh crap, like let me do all these 1,000 different things. I really need to just stay the course, right? Like I've identified that January was a result of a lack of effort for 4 months prior to this, right? The 4 months leading up to this, I didn't put in any effort and now I paid for it. Now I create a business plan that I believe in. So I need to stay the course with that. I need to not get distracted by 1 month of noise and make sure that I'm, staying focused on that. Kelly's asking in the chat right now, do I just list clothes? I would say 90% of the stuff I sell is clothing. I'm adding shoes into the mix for 2018, a lot more. I hit a little bit, but I'm being a lot more diligent, whether it be Marshall's, like retail arbitrage, Goodwill stuff, used shoes, things like that. And then I'm adding used electronics in. And I mentioned, someone asked about it yesterday. So Craigslist Hunter did this video on, it was like trends, some of the hot trends for 2018, I think. was a great video. And he just talked about media, or like, you know, VHS tape, you know, combos, things like that, like older electronic technology stuff being hot. And he's right, it is. So I'm starting to mix those in, which will start driving my average sell price up. But so just wanted to quick answer that. But my first thing is really just not get distracted right now, guys. Like, if you have a plan you believe in, you took the time to analyze what you did last year, what you want to change this year. You can't, after 1 month, just completely change everything you're doing because you have a bad month. And I know a lot of people have bad Januaries. I mean, I listen to a lot of people chat with a lot of the resellers. Like, January is a tough month for a lot of people. But you really need to stay the course for at least the first quarter to see what's happening with it. So that's number one. The second thing is I'm being really diligent right now. And this was a tip I got from Chris over 10K on the Bay and just a couple other sellers, and looking at best practice on eBay is I was really, 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 really bad about continually updating my titles, my pricing, like looking at my inventory on a regular scheduled basis in 2017. I didn't start doing, like, I did it a little bit better in the fourth quarter last year, but I just didn't have a good routine for it. And so now what I'm doing is basically every day I'm just doing 10 or 15 listings, and I'm going in and my older listings and I'm updating the titles in the new formats that I like to use, the right flow, the right keywords. I'm adding the cost of goods back into my custom SKU line and making sure that, you know, all that's there, because that's, I'm going to actually start doing actual costs instead of average costing. So, but every night I'm doing 10 to 15 listings. It only takes me, 15, 20 minutes. Do it. Usually I take my laptop while I'm laying in bed and do it. But it's something I'm doing every day. So I'm knocking 300 to 400 of my listings out per month, where they're getting refreshed now with titles. It's making it look like a newer listing. It's fresher in the algorithm, adjusting the prices to be competitive, things like that, where that's something that I really, really want to do. And I think will help freshen my inventory and keep a nice perspective on it and make sure that it's, kind of tip-top shape to sell. And someone just said, don't be too hard on yourself. I've been selling eBay since 1998, and there are always going to be ups and downs. And I appreciate that. And I fully recognize that. I'm a pretty ambitious person. I'm just, for me, I'm down 52%, I think, from what I had last year. Because I think I had one of my best selling months in January. Not down 52%. I'm down 48% since last year. I was looking at the inverse there. But yeah, really, really bad from last year. Someone's in the clothing market is flooded. Yeah, I don't disagree that there's definitely more competition. I think the thing that I've been really thinking about this year is I'm looking at brands that for 2 years I would pick up no brainer, not even look up, just grab. And I can pick five brands right now I can tell you that I no longer pick up that I used to always. And I think that's a big problem I'm having, right? Is I haven't done enough research due diligence on the new upcoming brands that aren't flooded, right? The hot stuff that goes fast. And I've just been backloading all this old brands that are slow movers now, like Thomas Dean, English Laundry, even I would say Thomas Pink, Charles Tyrwhitt. And I'll still pick up the good sizes, good brands in some of them, but English Laundry and Thomas Dean, I will not pick up anymore. They don't sell. Even Bugatti Uomo really doesn't sell that much. I mean, it's a really long tail, middle of the road. Things like that they're not as hot as they were. Like that whole flip cuff style was super, super desirable. And not that it isn't, it's just shifted to different brands now. And so I look at that yes, I think older brand markets are flooded, and there's definitely more competition than there was years before. I mean, it's just a no-brainer. There's more people selling it. There's more information. The competition and the amount of information available to sellers is very flat now. There's free information everywhere. But so I agree with you though. Sorry, that's kind of a long-winded response to that, but I totally agree. Jeremy said, I'm still new and I just started in December. I'm listening almost every day and I'm getting a little faster, but how long did it take you to get established when you started? I've been selling very seriously on eBay for a solid 3 years. I've been selling pretty much since 2000 and, I was selling in college back in 2008, 2009, and then kind of off and on. But yeah, I would say seriously, it took me 3 years to start getting, really I have almost 1,400 active listings now. I have a ton of multi-quantity listings. I probably have 2,500 actual items in my inventory. So yeah, I'm going to keep going. I have two other things that I want to say that I'm doing just because it might be helpful to someone else. Is I upgraded my photo setup. So I'm very stubborn and resistant to eBay best practices, only because I just like things the way I like things, and it's not a really great answer. So I was doing, I don't know, I was struggling with a lot of suits and blazers and things. I wasn't getting true color on a lot of my pictures. And I just was it's close enough. And just a lot of things I was compromising on. And so I finally, took the time, did my research, got my seamless white backdrop paper, really upgraded a little bit of my lighting stuff. and not expensive stuff. Just took the time to really think it through, set it up in a way that has good flow for me. And now I've got like the right contrast and the right, color quality and everything that I'm looking for in my pictures, especially on my higher price items that I want to sell quicker. And so I focus a lot more on that now in that process and doing a little more research on some filters and different things like that. Not adding more time to my listing, but just making sure that I'm producing the highest quality, I guess I could say. So that's something that I've done. I do have supplies linked in my bio. They are stuff that are in my description. Those are stuff that I actually use. None of it is that expensive, except for I would recommend the Amazon Basics photo box. You don't need that unless you really want to just have kind of the Cadillac of it and have the portability. You can make stuff really cheap. But I did take the time finally. And I mean, I'm telling you, I've been resistant and stubborn for probably over a year on my photo setup. I'm like, it's fine. It's fine. And so I think I'm starting to see that pay off because a lot of my newer listings are selling. Obviously there's a combination there. Just it's a newer listing. It's fresher. Of course, it gets more exposure. But I think the photo quality, the color quality, the presentation is getting better on them, and that's helping a lot. So take it for what's worth. But that's the third thing I'm doing. And then the fourth thing I'm doing is I'm continuing to learn about new items and new trends. And then kind of referencing before, like starting to pick up some of the vintage like electronic stuff, starting to pick up more like vintage board games and different things like that. Like I'm strolling through the hard goods section where before I would just zip through, do clothing only, in and out of the store. I'm forcing myself to learn a little more about shoes, take a little more opportunity just to diversify. Even in clothing, within clothing, I'm starting to learn more about like what's going to be hot this spring, so that I'm taking an eye for those type of things, so that when I hit the summer slowdown, it's not so slow because I have those items that people are selling. Someone else just said in the chat, they said, if you're a clothing seller, don't niche yourself into a corner, diversify into many niches so when one tanks for a while, the others may carry you through, which is dead on to what I'm saying right now. You couldn't be more right about that, and I couldn't have missed the mark on that much worse than I did in 2017. Like, I mean, I really missed the mark on that. I was super tunnel niched into stuff. The one thing that I'll say with the diversification is I think it's important to go really deep into a couple niches that are diversified, but not be in so many niches that you're missing out on value. So like I'm still really focused in like men's clothing, right? And I'm focused now on diversifying within men's clothing to the different seasons. I'm really focused into like the console vintage electronics because I know they're plentiful here in Charlotte, and I know there's a good way to streamline testing and picking those up. So like I very strategically, like shoes, you focus in the shoes. So like I really have like those three pillars, and I'm narrowly focused and deep into those three niches. So that diversification should carry me through, but I'm focused on learning as much as I can and expanding my knowledge in those specific niches. So that's the only thing I will say when you diversify, just be very strategic about it. Be strategic about what you have available to you to source, what you can streamline from your listing process, whether it be setup, testing, whatever, whatever the flow that is. And, I think that makes a huge difference for how many listings you can crank out. Like I'm a one-man shop and I can comfortably, I'm doing 270, but like that's more because I'm focused on other things too. Like if I wasn't doing real estate and I wasn't planning to buy my second property in the late spring, early summer, and I wasn't doing YouTube and I wasn't doing Instagram and all these other things that mix in with it, like I could pretty solidly, if I took all that time investing into those three things and threw it into reselling, I could comfortably do 400 listings a month by myself, like sourcing and listing. Like, there's no reason why I couldn't do that. So like if you spend time on the process and making sure you're as efficient as possible with your time, you can crank out quite a bit in that time. So Kristen said, yes, new shoe trends. Spring is always a good time to observe new shoe trends and kind of laying off some of the older shoe trends. I'm starting games, textbooks too. That's really cool. Yeah, I love seeing people kind of step out of the comfort zone a little bit. And if there's one thing I've learned over the last, I would say like half decade of just, I spent a lot of time reading self-development stuff. Just because I love learning. Like I really like learning. And the thing is, when you step out of those comfort zones and learn something that you know nothing about, where you might feel a little stupid, you might have to spend twice as long looking it up on eBay. You just learn and gain so much more perspective, and you catch such an eye for things that it just adds so much value to you as a reseller long term. So those are the four things I'm doing, though. I don't want to get too long-winded with it. Let's see, we have 54 people watching live. I really appreciate that. If you guys don't mind hitting that like button for me, lets YouTube know that it's some valuable content. But yeah, that's what I'm planning to do. 2018, I guess, is a bit of a disappointment from a results perspective. I think I figured a lot of stuff out about myself, my business, what I'm doing moving forward. And I'm just really going to stay the course. And that's what I want to encourage a lot of you who may have had a slow 2018 is just don't overcorrect right now. Like you just created your business plan. You just created your strategic plan, whatever it is for 2018. Don't overcorrect just yet. Like ride it out, and then maybe make small corrections over the next quarter. And then if it's still not working, then you evaluate, maybe make a big shift. But like, give it a quarter at least. Give it at least 3 months. Be patient with that. And that's exactly what I'm going to do. So yeah, how's everyone's February's off to? I'll take some Q&A too now, guys, if you want. I have no problem with that. Probably going to go for at least 5 or 10 more minutes or wrap up if there aren't questions. So someone just asked me, have you ever hired someone to help list? Would you hire someone you don't know to stick with somebody you know? So I did for a while. I paid a friend to do pictures and measurements for me. So he would come pick up a bin of clothes that I had sourced. He would do the pictures, the measurements. He'd throw them in Dropbox, and then I'd pick them up. And so I could list them throughout the week, and then I'd just pick up the inventory. They'd already be stored in my bags how I wanted all my inventory stored. So it literally just went into my garage or my storage unit. That went pretty well. I paid a piece rate, and then he moved away. I haven't done that since, just because the amount of volume I'm doing, I really can do myself. If the perfect opportunity came, or I knew someone who was looking for that opportunity or for a little extra money, I definitely would develop that relationship. I'm definitely open to that. So in the situation with him, he was learning to sell on eBay. And so he's like, hey, can I just do this so I can learn the process? And it'll help me in my business, helps me get some capital for my business. And it worked out great. It was a great scenario. I got to kind of teach and help him. He got some extra cash for his business. I got labor in return and got to scale a little quicker. So I would recommend someone you know to start with, because it's just easier when you already have a little bit of trust there. And you can just you pretty much can 1099 it as long as it's not enormous amounts of volume, and you can do it through PayPal. So that's kind of the easiest way. Jeremy said, should you drop the price on an item like shoes if you're very close to sold and listed items but hasn't sold in the first month? I'm not quite sure I understand the question. As far as price reduction, I try to review my pricing every couple months on an item. I'm a longer tail seller, so I'm okay leaving something priced for 2 or 3 months and then making a correction. I don't really knee-jerk react too much on pricing, because I do a little more research up front when I do price it, so I know that it's pretty competitive. Edward said, what do you think about eBay dropping PayPal? Not that surprised. I mean, I think the writing was on the wall when eBay and PayPal separated in general, right? When they sold off PayPal as its own entity, broke off. That was kind of right on the wall to me. I think it makes sense just from what other online platform are you so pigeonholed that you only can pretty much shop with PayPal, or with one type of payment processor? I just think it's kind of odd. So I'm excited about it. I mean, I love anytime there is change. I think I've talked about this before. I love when things drastically change on the platform. I love when promoted listings, when different sale manager, to me, I get so excited when there's complication and stuff that people are uneasy about, because it just creates opportunity, because it doesn't bother me at all. And to me, it's going to either shy people away from selling. Maybe the competition will get a little less. Maybe people will, I don't know. For me, from a buyer's perspective, I think it'll help tremendously drive traffic. I think it's a good thing. South Martindale said, is your target ASP 35 shipped or 35 gross? That's a great question. It's 35 shipped. So I used to do free shipping for everything. So I always just think about what I want shipped. I do charge shipping now. I do a flat $6.99 for everything except for electronics and shoes, which I do. I do flat $9.99 for shoes, and I think I'm going to do. I'm not sure how many electronics yet. There's a couple. Craigslist Hunter had a nice way to look at it. I'm not sure what I'm going to do. I may pick a flatter price that's on the higher end, but we'll just wait and see. So I think I just answered that other question about do I still offer free shipping? I do not. I didn't change. By the way, I just want to clarify this. I didn't change to a charge shipping model because of the increased shipping rates. I mean, I'm just going to be honest. I've seen a lot of people who are all upset about USPS charge. It's still cheap. I think my thing from an economic standpoint is you have a network where you only, this is how I look at it. You only have to pay basically 10% to eBay to have unlimited amount of listings, basically, in front of millions and millions of buyers all the time, with an infrastructure that's already set up for you, a marketing machine that's already set up for you. Then you have a little 3% for PayPal right now. So now you're at 13%. So again, all the back end, no websites, no maintenance, no subscriptions, everything's built in for 13%. And you get discounts on shipping, where if you had to ship to begin with USPS, it would be a lot more. We get discounts through eBay on top of that. and then shipping goes up a little bit, like build it into your margin. And maybe this sounds really like brutal, but like just build it into your margin. Like increase your shipping, increase all your prices by $1, and you would have fixed everything. Like, so to me, it's not that big a deal. Like, it's a super cheap cost of business. Like, if you were to start your own website from scratch, right? And you're going to handle all the back end, all the communication, all the marketing, all the SEO, like everything for it, the whole inventory system. It would be so expensive. You would be ripping your hair out with all the costs and subscriptions and this and that go into it. Like, you don't have to worry about any of that. All you have to worry about is posting items and shipping items. Like, that's it for 13% plus the cost to ship the items, which is a standard cost of doing business. So I'm like an eternal optimist, and people who follow my channel probably know that by now. Like, I don't really do drama and I don't do negativity. Like, to me, it's just like everything that happens is my fault, right? Like, the way I run my business is my fault. The results are my fault, and whether good or bad. And so I just kind of take that optimistic, positive look of like, hey, like, it's a cost of doing business, and we're super, 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 super privileged that we have a huge network to just, if I decide tomorrow to start a new business, I could sell all the stuff in my house, and it would only cost me 13% to get it to millions and millions of people. So that's how I look at it. Sorry, end rant. That was kind of a big rant, but someone said one thing I have not found on YouTube is how to measure shoes that has the sizes rubbed off. Can you do one or point me? That's a great question. So I don't have any good material on that. But a lot of brands have their own sizing guides. So if you go to the actual website of the manufacturer, they'll a lot of times have dimensions of the shoes, so you can figure out that way. The second thing you can do is go to Tino, the Soul Advisor. He has a YouTube channel. He's probably the most knowledgeable person I've ever seen on selling used shoes. I mean, no exaggeration. Check out his content. He has a lot of great stuff on there, and I think he's got some stuff about that. There is a good shoe guide. I don't remember if that's actually in it, but Tino and Rake and Profit put out a shoe, basically a shoe selling guide on that, and it might be in there. But I don't know specifically, but usually I just go to the manufacturer's website, or I do an estimation based on kind of my shoe size and where I think it lands. Adam said, learned a new jean brand the other week. Alberto, check out the Souls, $40. Awesome. I love learning new brands, especially in jeans. I sell a lot of jeans too. Jeans have been doing really well for me lately, so I will definitely check that out. I appreciate that. All right, I'll take a couple more questions if there are any. Otherwise, I'm going to get listing before the Super Bowl here. We are going to a friend's house to enjoy watching the game, and I want to get as many listings up as I can done. And then I actually have to do my shipping too before we head out. And then it's a new week, guys. This weekend flew by. It was Shannon's birthday. We did some karaoke Friday. It was a freaking blast. And Saturday, I just kind of thrifted and relaxed. We did some dinner. We had some dinner plans, and today, this weekend's it's flown by. All right, I don't see any other questions coming through, so I'm going to wrap up, guys. Hope you had an awesome weekend. I hope February is off to a great start and you're starting to really crank on the sales. Just remember, don't panic. Like, stay the course of whatever you have going on. Like, there's no reason to just overcorrect and get crazy right now. Like, January is over, February is here. Let's just put in the effort and get the results you want. If you have any questions afterwards, drop them in the comments below. Let me know if there's any things you're doing, small little corrections that are working. You can hit me on Instagram anytime, Endless Entrepreneurs. You try to get back to everyone as quick as I can. I'm not as good about the YouTube comments as I used to be. I need to get better back into that. I used to respond to every single one. I'm going to work on that, I promise. But if you need something right away, Instagram direct message is the best way to go. Have an awesome night, guys, and go Eagles. Although my Super Bowl prediction, which I promise, is 28-21 Patriots. They will cover the over and the spread. Unfortunately, that's what's probably going to happen. And by the way, I think it's total BS that Brady got MVP. Gurley blew him out of the water, and that was garbage. So I want to get that one out there. Have an awesome day, guys. Hit that like button. See you.